So, a greetings to everybody who may be listening. My name
Hello,
my name is Ian Garland. Welcome to the Not Moo podcast.
I'm Cameron Francisco.
And we don't have any guests with us today, so let's just kick right into what we've been listening to this week. Cameron, what have you got for us?
Well, I can't remember if I mentioned this last week. No, I didn't. Yeah, so I actually got around to listening to the second Mr. Bungle album. That was fun.
Yeah, I think you
Which
mentioned
was actually that kind of relates to what this review is. I mean,
yeah.
like this band that we'll be talking about later and Mr. Bungle aren't that different. I mean, it's still kind of the same. Like, you have this like metal instrumentation, but kind of going along with a bit of a jazzy, but more of like a math rock kind of thing.
Yeah. I was definitely getting that vibe from the album that we were listening to this week.
But they seem to be more like they don't seem to be like going as insane as you'd expect from Mr. Bungle, especially on their second album, which is the one that I listened to, called Disco Volante, which is, as far as I heard, their weirdest album.
All right. Disco Volante?
Disco Volante.
Was that the album that had Merry Go Bye Bye on it?
Yeah.
All right, because I remember. I'll admit that's the only song I know from Mr. Bungle, mainly because Mr. Scop, as I've said before, threw that song onto a music evaluation thing back in English class of high school, and it was a great shock to the system for a lot of people that were not aware of what Mr. Bungle would be doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure he gets a kick out of doing that every year, just scaring the crap out of people with the sudden metal of Merry Go Bye Bye, when like it kicks out of that nice, soothing, quiet moment into the aggressive, almost death metal sound of that little bit there. I really have to go back and spend this week I'll have to check out Disco Volante this week. My backlog is so full of music, and I have not been able to get to any of it because I kind of felt relatively similar to what you did a few weeks ago, where you just didn't want to be or something or other. Yeah, so a little bit of trouble trying to fit in music and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Disco Volante, you would say people give it a listen.
Yeah, it's weird and insane, and also one interesting thing is that there are there are barely lyrics on the album.
Really?
Like, if you go on Genius, you can look up the lyrics, but a lot of them, like on Chemical Marriage and this other song that I can't remember the name of because the name is actually nonsense. Hold on.
Let's see. I'm actually looking here. Desert Search for Techno Ala? Or Violencia Domestica?
Mamishka Mao Squaz.
Oh, alright. This one. Alright.
Yeah, those two, all of the lyrics are just bullshit. Like, none of them are words.
It's all just gibberish?
Yeah, like, if you go on Genius, like, click on either of those songs. Either Chemical Marriage or Mamishka Mao Squaz.
Lyric Genius. Let me take a look at that real quick. Mr. Bungle. Let's see. Genius. Alright, let's see. And it was Disco Volante.
Yeah.
And Chemical Marriage. Let's see. Yeah. I could definitely see that. That's some needle nonsense right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, for people who may not be looking at this, the third lyric in Mamishka Mao Squoz is Iolehx Yergek, followed up with a real hueo, which I can really feel the meaning behind the hueos and the hucks.
See, it's funny because like um like apparently it was like written out like just to be like that. Which I mean, I can imagine that being something that Mike Patton would do.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, for someone who is as weird as Mike Patton, this isn't beyond him. Like, this is a very experimental move. And do you know of any artists that do shit like this?
I mean, I know that like scatting is a thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, this is beyond scatting to just like writing babbling nonsense. Or scatting is more of like a I'd say scat is a kind of a free-form interpretive version of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's probably some weird black metal band that does this. Maybe like somewhere out there.
Probably, but I mean, I do know of a weird alternative metal, jazz fusion, ska punk band that does it.
That was it. All right, so, but yeah, so Disco Volante, October 10th, 1995. So it is 21 years old, legal age to drink, legal age to consensually prostitute itself, I believe. Yes. And
Disco Volante is now finally old enough to prostitute itself. Good.
Yes.
The self-titled must have been doing that for years now.
Yeah, 91. So it's been around the corner. It's going to teach Disco Volante a few things about the corner, and hopefully the two of them can make it off well in that area.
Oh god, and then like not too long into the future, like in just like a few years, California will be in the business.
Wait, so question actually. I'm looking at Disco Volante here, and there's elements of Arabic music in this record. Could you kind of describe that a little bit, or is that something you're not really?
Well, I mean, there's was it a Search for Desert Allah?
Uh-huh. Like, what kind of...
and there.
What would you say, like, makes it Arabic music, like...
I believe what they were referred to by Justin when he was talking about that kind of thing was like half notes. Like
right.
like you know how some elements of System of a Down will kind of have that like Arabic sound to it.
I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay, all right.
It's just that kind of thing.
All right, that makes sense. But all right, that's pretty cool. So all right, so I guess are you cool with talking about Bungle now?
Yeah.
All right. So interesting thing I ended up listening. Well, I didn't really. It's not really something new. Is more. I did more of a listen. I gave it more of a listen. Was the new Low Roar record that came out a few weeks ago. Ever since kind of being a little bit disappointed by Slow Dive, I needed some kind of nice mellow album to kind of stave off the cravings for a nice chill record. I ended up doing a lot of analysis of the song Gozia on it. Has a very beautiful kind of... I can't even know how to describe it, but it sounds like a mix between a xylophone and just a traditional piano. Like maybe they sampled the xylophone for all the piano keys throughout it. But it has a really nice melody between each of the verses. And I feel like the melody really actually ties in well with the themes of the song. With the theme of the song Gozia being a sort of breakup song where two people have been fed up with each other. They've dealt with the crap they put through each other through for too long, and it's time to go away. And the progression of the melody kind of fits in between all of these kind of verses, kind of sorting through the coherent thoughts in your head, and acts as sort of the weird incoherent thoughts you get, the weird ups and downs of emotions you get when you're in that stage of the shock of the breakup, that everything's kind of falling apart. Can you fix things? Can you not fix things? All of the incoherent, like, nowhere thoughts. the textures of it are very soothing, as if it were made as a sort of breakup healing song. And not only that, but they're like some brilliant like lyrical. There's just some brilliant lines written through it. One really standout line that I actually found in Gozia when I was doing an analysis of it was, "And now my promises slept with your lies," which is kind of uncharacteristic of breakup songs, which really don't explore the theme of like, oh, I did some stupid shit too. Like that lyric probably kind of relates to the concept of promises you couldn't keep, and they mingled with the lies that she threw at his face in an interesting way that sort of changed the dynamic of this song and into not just what could easily be just a screw you song, and more of a like, I understand what went wrong, and it was a two-way street we both screwed up on. And I guess I just kind of want to embellish on just how brilliantly that song is written as like a breakup song, and it probably relates to a couple other tracks earlier in the record, namely "Give Me an Answer" and actually the track right after, a few tracks right after, "Once in a Long Long While," which is a kind of a track about accepting help when you most need it, from what I understand. And the whole album itself seems to be like one big breakup healing, or going through trouble in a relationship kind of healing album sort of thing. And I guess I just kind of want to like talk a little bit about that and how much it impresses me that this album came to be and how well written it is as an album itself. Did you end up getting to listen to it by any chance?
No.
Alright, I mean, if you have the time, I suggest giving it a listen, because Low Roar is probably easily going to be I hope to be one of the hottest artists from that genre, just of the genre of like dream pop, post-rock, indie rock mix, whatever that would be called. But yeah. I just hope they can get some sort of major attention, because right now they're kind of slipping under the cracks. Like, no one's talking about them as much as like other major artists like the XX and whatnot, which they have about.
I'm seeing them.
Oh yeah, right. You're seeing them Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I heard my friend who had tickets to Boston Calling apparently had to sell them away because of he has a job offer that he has to take care of, so I can't go to Boston Calling. But I want you to tell me all about Boston Calling the Monday after this one. Or maybe even just do it Sunday, because since I don't have to deal with going Sunday, we might just do that Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyway, back on to my point there. Like, the XX is released like 3 studio albums, and same goes for Low Roar. Like, they've released 3 full-length albums. They're right along the same. They're right along like the same progression path as the XX. Only the Low Roar's a little bit more challenging. Like, whereas the XX has a little bit more of like the more relaxed, laid back elements of dream pop. Not to say that the XX isn't bad as like a dream pop band. They're fantastic. I love their song. Shoot, what was the one song of Coexist? It was like a very chill, relaxed song. Coexist. Let me look it up here real quick. The XX. Let's see. Wait, no, it wasn't Coexist. It was I See You. That's what it was.
I see.
Yeah, it was A Violent Noise. Oh, A Violent Noise was on like my walking playlist just because I love it so much. And the entire album itself was very enjoyable. It's filled the void where some albums have kind of dropped off the wagon. But at the same time, I don't think it is as good and as challenging as Low Roar, but the problem might be that this is a lot more accessible to the public than Low Roar's album.
Right.
Yeah. It may just be that labels aren't promoting them as well as they want to be. But I guess that's my little tangent out of the way. Listen to Low Roar. The XX, listen to them too, but listen to Low Roar more, please. Because I so want them to be into the mainstream. Ryan really deserves it after all the work he's put into it. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I guess that ends my little tangent on things. What have you been listening to, Cam?
Well, I decided to listen to the one Watsky album that I ended up skipping.
Uh-huh.
For whatever reason. And wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Alright, so describe your feelings about Watsky's album that you skipped, and, well, tell us which album it is that you skipped, in case some of us weren't paying attention a bit.
It's called All You Can Do, and it wasn't good.
Alright.
Like, the album right before it was good, and then the album right after it was better, and then this one just wasn't good.
So it was just like, he really dipped off the deep end and just kind of screwed up here.
I mean, it wasn't like horribly, like, it wasn't like awful. Like I didn't like absolutely hate listening to it, but like it just wasn't working.
Okay, all right. You see,
like,
oh, sorry.
Like, oh,
sorry, as you were saying.
a lot of the highlights of the album were the singles and the songs that he released music videos for.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them. But like, one of the things that's always been consistent about his style is that he kind of works with the fact that he seems very out of place with what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But usually he makes that work. Like, it doesn't sound too awkward.
All right.
But like, it just sounds awkward on All You Can Do.
Okay, all right. See, so on the customer reviews for Amazon, it's right at like 4.5 stars. Could you argue against it being a 4.5 for a lot of people, or on average?
You know what would be a 4.5?
What?
Out of 5? Watsky's Times Infinity, which is the album right after this.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually, people are rating as like a 5, almost 4.9, almost a full 5 stars.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Like, Times Infinity is really good.
Yeah.
And all you can do it really isn't.
All right. So I guess this maybe just an issue of like some people have like a bit lower standards, or maybe you have just a particular ear for Watsky. Maybe
it's because I listened to Cardboard Castles then Times Infinity.
Yeah, you skipped over it. You didn't get that natural progression, maybe. But
I guess, but like, I'm pretty sure like that, like, even Cardboard Castles is better than All You Can Do. Although it has been a while since I listened to Cardboard Castles.
How long has it been since you listened to Cardboard Castles?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know exactly.
All right. Well, I mean, point is, you might want to go listen to it again.
I guess.
Yeah.
Or I can just continue listening to Times Infinity.
I mean, that's true.
It's really good.
And is it alternative hip hop as what it's described as? You'd say that's perfectly acceptable as a label for it?
Yeah.
All right. What defines it as alternative hip hop and not like mainstream hip hop or whatever other kinds of hip hop? Because I've seen like regular just hip hop thrown everywhere, but I've never seen alternative hip hop as a label for something.
Well, the main thing with Watsky is that his whole persona, just the way that he presents himself is very different from what you'd expect from your average hip hop artist. Regardless of like race or anything, like most hip hop artists have like the same like demeanor about them.
All right, yeah.
But like Watsky specifically has the demeanor of an awkward college student.
All right, that makes sense. So it's less on the style and more on the delivery and the lyrical themes.
Yeah.
All right.
And like, and you know, he kind of he does have a sense of humor about it. Like that, I think he does specifically have a sense of humor when he kind of seems like he's trying to do like a more, you know, your more typical hip hop style. Like, since I'm looking at the track list for Times Infinity, there's like Pink Lemonade or Don't Be Nice, which, you know, both of those songs, you know, I don't mean to say like typical hip hop thing, but like he kind of seems like he's making this song kind of like, you can tell that he seems like an awkward college student, but it almost seems like he's trying not to be an awkward college student and more trying to be like tough in some way.
Yeah.
And intimidating.
Yeah.
Although the weird thing is, you can tell that you can tell that there is like a sense of parody, so it doesn't come off as like horrible.
All right. So in that trying to evolve from where he is, it seems like he's aware of what he's doing and is trying to make light of it too, so that, say, in future releases, if he were to kind of go into just being to dropping the persona, people will kind of accept it. Maybe? I don't know.
Well, it's not really. I can't really say that it's a persona. It's more just his personality in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not like playing a character or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just has that personality and is very much interested in hip hop and poetry, so he does those. It's just that, you know, usually in hip hop, like something like this would seem incredibly gimmicky. And on All You Can Do, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But not on Times Infinity.
All right, so there was pretty much more a sense of earnesty, a sense of he was being completely genuine on this record as compared to his previous record then.
Yeah. And like even on the songs that he seems like he was kind of going in like a different direction, like Pink Lemonade and Don't Be Nice, as I mentioned before. He didn't seem like he was like he didn't seem like he was trying too hard to do what he was doing, and also the lyrics in general weren't as awkward to listen to as some of the lyrics on All You Can Do.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Like honestly, the kind of weird lyrics that he would put on songs in this album, they actually came off as funny to me.
All right. That's interesting.
I will say though, there are genuine highlights on All You Can Do. As I pull up the track list, so I'll actually be able to name it. Like Sarajevo, I liked that one. Probably my favorite song on the album was Right Now, because Right Now actually did feel like the most like a Watsky song. Like that, like Right Now is the kind of song that I would go to Watsky to hear.
It's honestly really funny because I'm looking at like the Amazon I'm on the Amazon, basically like their little display that iTunes would have, and right now is actually one of the songs that like has no popularity to it whatsoever. Like the title track, Stand for Something, Bet Against Me, and Whoa 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 are all like some of the most popular tracks on the album, including
those are the first 4.
And like Let's Get High, Watch Planet Earth is another popular one, and then like the last 3
Okay,
are...
so far all of the tracks that you've been mentioning have been tracks with like music videos and everything.
Yeah, and like the last 3 songs are like the most popular as well. One of the most popular as well. It's like everything else has like a note, except for the songs that you basically like. Except for like Sarajevo, which is obviously like it has a tiny bit of popularity. Does that have a music video for it?
No.
Alright, so that one just has natural popularity then. But
yeah. But like that Sarajevo is one of the like more serious tracks on the album, and that usually seems to work for him. But like of course like the first 4 tracks, like all of them, like actually the first 6 tracks on the album all have music videos, although Stand for Something, instead of having a music video, it just had like this live video thing. It was kind of weird. I don't know. He had a lyric video for The One, which on like the One is a weird case. Like, see, I feel like The One is a good example of his like attempts at like being that kind of like using his personality and it like not working and just kind of making you feel awkward instead of presenting like a humorous kind of awkwardness.
All right, I can see that. So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. So you could say like there's also another problem with this album between that you might not have found but other people didn't, is that the sincerity wasn't there. Some people may not have listened for the sincerity or weren't as analytical as you were about the Watsky album, maybe.
I mean, I wasn't particularly like analytical or anything.
Yeah.
like a lot of the problems that I had with the album stood out.
All right. But they stood out to you, but they may not have stood out to a lot of people. But I mean, to them it was serviceable, and yeah. I don't know.
But I mean, like the songs that like have music videos and are popular, like I do like those. Like All You Can Do, especially. I do very much like All You Can Do, and Bet Against Me is pretty good, and so is Whoa Whoa Whoa. But like, Let's Get High and Watch the Planet Earth, My First Stalker, The One. Hand Over Hand had like some promise, and so did Grass Is Greener. But like they didn't quite like hit the mark. Boomerang I wasn't into. Yeah. So a lot of the songs that so when the album was like actually came out, when there were songs coming out and it was being promoted and everything, I was listening to those songs, so I already did know All You Can Do and Bet Against Me and Whoa 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 and even The One. And there were, and Never Let It Die, there were songs that I already knew off of the album, and those songs that I already knew I did enjoy, although even like when even though I already knew The One, I could still tell that it wasn't, you know, that much of a highlight on the album. But like the songs that I didn't know, you know, the songs that I was just hearing for the first time, those are the songs that didn't seem to work for me. And that's also not something that happened with Times Infinity, because before Times Infinity came out, he for one thing, he already has like a lot of music videos for this album, but even before the album came out, he had a lot of music videos coming out, and I enjoyed all of them. And then I listened to the album, and all the other songs that didn't have music videos, I enjoyed the hell out of those too.
Yeah. It must have been just change in direction or something, but I guess point of this whole ramble is
he didn't really change his direction. He just for some reason he didn't do it well once, and then he did it better the next time.
Yeah, I gotcha. But I think the point of this diatribe here is All You Can Do is not as good of a Watsky album as Times Infinity is. But I mean, people seem to like it, so who knows if you like it or not, you audience people out there. But I bet you like Times Infinity from what Cameron's been talking about for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, listen to Times Infinity.
Yeah, alright. Well, we got 2 suggestions for you this week already. Low Roar, Once in a Long, Long While, Times Infinity, Watsky. Now, mind if I talk a little bit about the Justin Arena and Fordham Road show that happened this Thursday?
Go ahead.
So, at the Out of the Blue 2 Art Gallery in Boston, right up on Mass Ave, there was a show for Thomas Shubsta's birthday. Shubsta, I think was his last name. Shubsta. Yeah, Thomas Shubsta's birthday was Thursday, and he was playing a birthday show with Justin Arena Project opening for him, and that was an absolute blast going to that. There was just a spirit of like just fun because like everyone was like making it a big deal that it was like Tom's birthday, like everyone was putting the spotlight on him. It was really cool. And the guys had never met me too, so I mean it was kind of cool to meet them and like kind of hear the thanks for like trying to give their work the promo that we could. And honestly, it was really fun being there. Like they played 4 songs that are going to be coming off of their upcoming summer album. Don't know the title of it yet, but the songs are all really fun. I think all of them were like roughly 8 minutes long or even longer. There were some neat like odysseys there. They made a good use of like the trumpets and the trombone, and that was really cool. They're probably going to be around like, I don't know, 4 other tracks coming around. We'll probably see like their full release, I don't know, sometime in maybe July or August. But I know we're going to be pretty busy this summer with like all of the new releases coming out. Yeah. It was actually really cool to see the entirety of the Gates of Heaven played out in front of me. They didn't have Sayak Das or Amanda McCarthy there, sadly, to do their features, but they really made do without with the absence. I can't remember who filled in. I think was it Justin that filled in for? No, it was what was his name at Fordham Road? The vocalist,
Christian.
Yeah, Christian. Yeah, he basically just sang all of both of Sayak Dust's parts and all of Amanda McCarthy's parts for both the opening and the closing track to The Gates of Heaven, which fit in well. I mean, it was interesting to hear a lower register take on what was Amanda McCarthy's singing part. It didn't have the same impact, but it still was serviceable and very enjoyable as a track. And I feel like seeing actually Hope played live, it felt a lot more genuine than it did listening to it. Because, I mean, the spoken word part in Hope had a neat effect to it, but Sayak Das's delivery just sounded very corny, and it wasn't as genuine as it could have been, my comment still stands. Like, it felt like we've heard this thing before multiple times. The same diatribe of, we are really insignificant in the eye of the universe, but together we can kind of find our own significance and make our own meaning, and that's what makes the world beautiful. And I feel like it had a lot more impact seeing it live, hearing it live, and having it spoken to me live. And I feel like the message of the song Hope may actually impact you a little bit more if you're having actually a tough time in life. Because back when I listened to The Gates of Heaven, things were going alright, but right now it's like things aren't going the best, so I can actually feel the impact of Hope a little bit more too. So that might be a factor, an emotional factor in Hope as well. Like, it will resonate more with people that are having a really tough time in life, which is actually pretty effective when you consider the purpose of the record the Gates of Heaven.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Gates of Heaven was really fun to see play live. It was cool to see Christian do switch off between keyboards and get lead guitar at the same time. It was cool to see the trumpeter jump on keyboards when needed. See the rhythm guitarist jump on the trombone when needed. It was all a cool performance, and Justin, Amali, and Snide really did well in kind of prepping us for their act. They played some really nice hallmarks. They ended up actually bringing no merch on their show at all, and were telling people to like donate to elephants, to like saving the elephants instead of like buying merch from them, which is like pretty cool. I love that Justin's taking these moral crusades. Well, that's actually a really bad way to put it. He's taking these leaps out there to kind of promote a cause that he really cares about, and that's like really cool of Justin. And like I love the fact that he's like really taking the passion of being a musician and being an artist and sending a message out there, because some people learn it from the money and it sucks, and it's cool to see like someone who just wants to have fun and promote good feelings and good vibes all the time. It was cool to see them play Lungs, actually, because I think they had what was his name? He was in the Tritones, dude. Let's see. I met him at the show. He's hanging out. No, where is Tritones Bandcamp? But you know the Tritones local band, right?
I've heard of them.
Oh, Michael of the Tritones. He was there. He ended up doing like the Nathan Calsagnos part at the end of Lungs for Justin and Reno's set, which was pretty cool. I don't think I've even seen Lungs play live, so it was kind of nice to get that kind of that vibrant fun to it that some of his more recent shows have kind of missed. I don't know, maybe like he had to cut Lungs out at the when he was playing at the barn a couple weeks ago. Was it?
I don't know.
I think he cut it out. Did he?
I don't know. I didn't see the set.
Oh, you didn't? All right, because you took off after a while. But yeah, I believe he cut out Lungs to give more time to Patrick Yaw, which kind of sucks, because I like Justin's more positive and upbeat songs. It's nice to hear his meaningful songs, but sometimes you just kind of want to hear something nice and fun, because
well, yeah, but like that's the kind of thing that he's planning on doing now. I think he mainly just had to get the Pink Room out.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like with the Pink Room being out, it's been playing a lot of serious stuff, and it's been refreshing to hear like the less dramatic stuff and the more let's be fun and jovial, because I mean like the last year has been kind of exhausting emotionally, and it's I know I'm just complaining for complaining's sake, but again I want to say it is good to hear another positive song, and I can't wait to hear more positive songs from him this summer when his next album comes out, whenever that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my thoughts on it. Out of the Blue 2 is a really fun place. They actually have you been to Out of the Blue 2 by any chance?
Yeah, I have.
Oh yes. Did you end up browsing the records section at all?
All the times that I ended up going there, it wasn't open.
Alright. If you can, try and show up at Out of the Blue a little bit early the next time there's a show there, well, that you're interested in, because the record shop has a lot of good stuff in there. I ended up seeing there's a bunch of Bowie there. There was a bunch of neat recent stuff. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, because I was just trying to flip through it looking for some records that I may have been looking out for recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was neat to kind of see all that. Definitely try and take like a half hour to look through the records if you can. I was lucky and got in just in time to like check a little bit, but I didn't find anything. interesting. They have they have a cool section of like, hey, used records, $2 for any of these, $1 for any of these. They even got cassettes there, or just 7-inch LPs if you're looking for those. They even have a good section of like local bands just leaving their CDs for people to buy. There's a couple of artists I picked out that I have yet to listen to. Let me just get the list real quick. Let's see. Out of the blue, I found... What was it? I found... Let's see. Where was it? I think there was one band. I can't remember exactly where it was. What was it? Where was it? I added it in here. Oh yeah, Phantasmagoria by Michael Z.T. Rose, which is apparently an avant-garde record. Got a very experimental electronic record, which I'll have to check out at some point. Maybe it could be our album for the next week.
Maybe.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of neat little CDs there for like $5 for like all the different local artists. So that's my little pitch to check out Out of the Blue 2. There's just a cool ass art gallery that sells a lot of neat stuff. The Samoyed there is just wonderful. He's a big old fluffy boofer. And yeah, that's my little spiel on that. Anything else you want to talk about, Cameron?
I don't really have anything else.
Alright, so I'm gonna switch over to the Geph album, and if you could just kind of lead us into a little bit of background while I just use the restroom real quick.
Okay.
Alright, I'll be right back.
Alright, so Geph. Geph is a local band from Boston. They mainly... Their main sound is they're a metal. They kind of have a jazz metal fusion. When you listen to this record, what you're mainly going to be thinking is math rock. Essentially, that's what it is. The interesting thing about it, though, is that the three, it's a trio. There's a drummer, and then the two other members have what are known as Chapman sticks, which is this special kind of guitar that has like a lot of strings. It's a very odd thing. Also, it's entirely instrumental. Like the only lyrics, like the only vocals, are on track 5, Mokhtar Da'aro, live at the record company, where you kind of hear, you hear like a little bit of stage banter. It's really just like the band members just like talking to each other, I would imagine, and they start playing. Welcome back.
All right, Cameron. So, what did you tell them?
Well, that it's a jazz metal fusion album that'll make them think math rock, and then I explained how there's a drummer and 2 people who use Chapman sticks, and that it's entirely instrumental.
All right.
And, like the only things that you can even consider vocals on the album are at the beginning of track 5, Mokhtar Da'aro, live at the record company, where it's just like a little bit of stage banter, or it's just like the members talking to themselves, and then it goes into the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, Geph's album was actually a really interesting listen. I managed to give it one listen in the middle of the week, then a couple of extra listens today, just to kind of get myself solidified in my thoughts with it. This is very, very interesting as an album. It showed a lot of inspiration from like other progressive artists. It had a lot of elements of like, I want to say I could hear a little bit of Yes and The Trouble of Doorways, and I'm the Lamp That Stomps sounded a little bit like Rush too, which, it's not really hard when like they're the guys who almost set the stage for like progressive rock bands and to come, whatnot.
Yeah.
And progressive metal, of course.
Yeah.
I had a hard time picking out the jazz fusion. Is jazz?
Yeah, so I didn't really get that either.
I mean, and maybe just something you kind of learn to understand. I'm thinking maybe a compositional thing too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like maybe they composed it in a similar way to like jazz bands would, or maybe they're like talking about like certain breakups for different instruments to have their own little moments. But either way, it's a very interesting sound, and I kind of want to listen to more jazz fusion after listening to this.
Well, I mean, listening to this, if you want to get something that's a little like similar to this, then you'd want to go into like math rock. Like there's a band from California called Covet that I very much enjoy. It's kind of like it kind of has a similar style to this, except instead of being it's not as distorted in its metal. There is like an element of metal in there, but like the whole idea is that the complicated guitar parts that like would make it a math rock song, it's on a clean electric, which is a sound which like tapping on a clean electric and like doing that kind of thing is a sound that I really like. And Covet just has that in spades. But like this is a similar kind of thing. The main thing that you'll catch on to here is all of the complicated time signatures.
Yes, the time signatures. That really actually stuck out to me. It was honestly really jarring at first because I've not really listened to music with like super complicated time signatures. I think the furthest I've gotten to listening to something with really weird time signatures is and this doesn't really even count, but like Opeth with the fact that they play almost all of their music in 3/4 time, easily stuff you can easily waltz to and whatnot. I may have not been aware of certain other artists that play in weird time signatures, but this was a very, very jarring, but a little bit satisfying experience, and kind of hearing those time signatures kind of blend into each other.
Yeah, when you actually like figure out what it's doing, then it is enjoyable.
Yeah, I say for some parts though, of like I believe it was Splinter, it was a little bit just jarring, kind of like. But it was still an enjoyable kind of jarring. Like I was piecing together a puzzle there, and it sounded. It felt kind of neat because it was. I don't really listen to music to contemplate much unless it's like I'm tasking myself to contemplate it. But it was kind of cool to kind of give that little contemplation puzzle to kind of see what they're doing here and kind of understand the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, some highlights to the album are honestly, let's see, Malawaktar Dario, live at the record company. That was just a really neat, progressive odyssey with, I can't describe it because I didn't give it enough of a listen to kind of get a true evaluation of it, but I want to say that Malawaktar, it just had a neat odyssey to it. It was a very, I can't even formulate words for this. My apologies. It's not. I should have given this more of a listen, but
I mean, it is interesting how Mokhtar Da'aro, it says that it's live, and you can hear them like talking to each other at the very beginning. But then when the song actually starts, once the song actually starts, it doesn't sound live anymore.
Yeah, like there is. I will say that like the production on this album is absolutely top notch. There's no, I can't find any flaws, but the artists probably have seen flaws here and there that we can't, of course. It's actually funny enough, they kind of want to, I looked on their Facebook page and they had a Indiegogo going a few months back to get their next album going. successful, thankfully. They got $96,000. Not 96,000. $9,600 to record the rest of their album. And they're looking to up the quality, which is, I can't see what they need to up because everything sounded fantastic on my Hi-Fi HE350s, but I'm pretty sure they had like some bits that they weren't happy with. But point is, this is honestly really solid produced. It was very crisp in my headphones. It was a nice album to listen to. Both of the Chapman sticks and the drums came out very nicely. The mixing was top notch. It's almost like it is studio quality, like something you would expect out of like a professional progressive metal band.
True.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts you want to fill in there?
Well, it appears that it was recorded at the record company in Boston, so I'd imagine like that would be a studio.
Yeah. I mean,
so yeah,
it feels like, there's an extreme professional polish. Like this is still like independent music to some extent, and it's kind of cool to hear that sort of pristine polish that you'd expect from like really popular progressive artists like Modern Opeth, and I can't think of other practicing progressive rock artists off the top of my head outside of Fordham Road, but Fordham Road. I mean, to some extent though, Fordham Road still has some sort of independent edge to them in their recording recently. But my point still stands, like, they have a very strong edge to them. This is almost a flawless sounding album. I can't pick out anything wrong that they may pick out wrong. But
I didn't think there was anything particularly wrong about the album either.
Yeah. Did you get any time to kind of look over the backstory behind the album that's in the
I actually didn't.
So why don't we go over it a little bit right now since we have the time.
All right.
So Earth 2135. The human species is stretched to its limits due to overpopulation and limited resources. The only hope to stave off impending disaster is to colonize among the stars. To aid in this goal, science looked towards the gravitron, a hypothetical particle that mediates the behavior of gravity. Theoretically, the direct observation of the graviton could possibly allude to methods of harnessing and manipulating gravity. Hoping to bring this understanding to light, scientists have developed a manned craft that will shrink while maintaining the integrity of itself and its contents. The pilot of
this craft is the world's first quantum knot, a theoretical physicist whose mission is to shrink the craft down and directly observe the graviton, reporting his findings back to his team. However, there is a point of no return. If he becomes too small, he'll never be able to return to full size and will forever keep shrinking exponentially into nothingness.
His heart beats heavy in his chest as the ship is activated. His colleagues become giants. Dust mites look like boulders. Then asteroids, then planets. He sees bacteria the size of whales, molecules the size of buildings, and atoms the size of cars. He watches strong and weak forces play out in front of him and witnesses ionic and covalent bonding firsthand. Still, he has yet to find the graviton.
As he begins to reach the limits of his craft, his colleagues urge him to return to normal size, but he thinks of the future of humanity, and in his heart, he knows that he will not get another chance. He refuses to return empty-handed. Finally, as his equipment blares warnings, he spots what he's looking for. It is beautiful, nearly incomprehensible, but unmistakable. He observes, takes takes the data he needs and relays it to his colleagues, the stability of his craft begins to falter. At this point, he knows he will not return. He wishes his team luck and continues to shrink into the void.
The quantum knot sees many amazing things as he grows smaller and smaller. Elementary particles, quantum forces, things he knew his colleagues would never even dream of. Finally, he reaches the smallest size conceptualized by physicists, that of the quantum foam. As he floats among the bubbles of the very fabric of our universe, he peers into the bubbles only to find that all of existence is nothing more than a giant cosmic joke. He sees the same thing over and over until infinity. Each bubble that makes up existence, he sees the entirety of the universe from which he came. That's an interesting story there. That will, you know what? Kind of looking over the tracks and like my listening experience, I could kind of see where they're coming with that kind of this story portrayed here throughout the album, throughout the instrumentals. Like, I think like almost every each major song kind of contributed something to this journey. Each paragraph kind of accentuated by its accompanying major song.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there is definitely something here to interpret. There's definitely a lot of meaning behind what they're making. And it's an interesting conceptual album, I will give it that. Like, I feel ashamed that I didn't dive into this much more than I should have. Because, you know, just kind of, I like these science-y themes. I like how these bands dive deep into physics and all of these laws of nature and kind of interpret them into music. I like to hear the science interpreted through the sound. And it's kind of neat to see these bands kind of experiment with it. I know another band that experiments with scientific themes, Scar Symmetry. They've done a lot of interesting concept albums around actually a theory that people have. There's one, the Holographic Universe, which inspires their third album, Holographic Universe. What else is there? They have a whole album dedicated to the singularity. Oh, a whole album, 3-album trio plan, which is dedicated to the singularity and its effects on humanity. But that's getting ahead of myself. Basically what I'm saying is I love these albums that really experiment on these scientific concepts and kind of create a story around them for us to interpret for ourselves and see, like, what can we take away from this at the end of the day? What is there to learn from these experiences?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, as you'll hear here, like, in I'm the Land That Stomps, people who are listening, this is another part where the album takes an interesting time signature turn and kind of jars the listener a little bit. I feel like actually looking back on the what we just read, the jarring parts, the parts where like the time signature really changes and kicks into another gear might just be some sort of like basically an interpretation in the song form of these shit's starting to go down, shit's happening, there are things that we don't understand happening, science is kicking in, the man is shrinking, the man is giving away all that he was known for in order to find this goal and reach this goal.
Yeah.
Which, kind of interpreting that, it's extremely effective, and it gives the album a lot of promise and a lot of re-listening potential.
Yeah.
I guess really the point is with these conceptual albums, if they have a story to them, read it as you're listening, because you will get probably a very interesting experience. I'd kind of like to hear if these guys would have it in them to kind of do spoken word over this album and kind of narrate the story as the album goes, just to kind of see like if that what their intended experience is, if that is what they intend, because that would be really cool.
Yeah.
You know, if what they intend is just an instrumental album based on a story, that's pretty cool, and I would still stick with that.
Yeah, and like where the story goes in the context of the album, that would be up to interpretation. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, that's that. And I guess if I had to give the album a full evaluation, I would say 3.1415926 repeating digits out of something. I don't know. That was my arbitrary number of the week. Geph's self-titled release, Geph, is very fun, very interesting, and if you want something that's going to challenge you and kind of give you something interesting to listen to and kind of interpret for yourself, give it a listen, because this is a great album. You may not be turned away by its metal feelings if you've been kind of not metal feelings, but metal composition style. You may be turned away by it depending on like what your tastes are, but if you're not and you're up to new things, definitely give it a listen. And after this, if you want more of it, listen to new Opeth, listen to Rush, listen to Yes,
listen to Covet,
of course. Just find interesting math rock bands out there to evolve your tastes. And what about you, Cam? Your end of the review spiel?
I have now been made aware of quantum foam.
Yes, don't know if quantum foam is actually a is it?
It is a concept.
It is? Huh.
Yeah, like they didn't just make up quantum foam.
All right, because I mean sometimes.
But it did sound like something that they made up.
Yeah. All right, well that's cool to have that verified. Quantum foam is an existing theory by physicist people, but it's just a theory, a science theory, and shoot me.
What are you doing?
I don't know anymore, Cameron. What am I doing in my life?
Listen, you need more, like, you need more quantum foam.
Yes, I will need to consume more quantum foam. I will shrink down to as small as I can and consume as much quantum foam as I can.
Wonderful.
See, and I'll have to look into the quantum foam theory anyway later on, because I want to. Does it say if quantum foam kind of dives into well, it being made up of a repetition of other universes or something like that?
Foam is conceptualized as the foundation of the fabric of the universe.
Well, I'll just take a look into it more anyway. But yeah, so quantum foam exists, people. Believe it. Date bio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that concludes Geph's review. I look forward to their upcoming album. If you want updates on that, go to their Facebook page in the links below. If you want to hear more Geph, they have a single. Do they have a single? Yeah, they have a single up on their Bandcamp. And just keep your eye out, because these are guys to follow in the future. And is there any music news that we've come across in the past week that you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. Not that I've really been made aware of.
All right. Oh, actually, there's a lot of talk in implying we can discuss music about the Power Bottom. It's the queer what are they? Queer
punk.
Queer punk band. They were canceling their tour after accusations of sexual abuse and anti-Semitism, which honestly is a darn shame, because I mean...
I didn't hear it. Oh, yeah, I did. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I didn't hear about the anti-Semitism part, but then I was like, yeah, I did. Although, what I did hear about the whole anti-Semitism part was that I guess like one of the members was standing outside of a swastika, which honestly, like at this point in time, like if someone were to do that and tell me that it was a joke, like with that, like right now, I would believe that. Like I would believe that was just like absolute bullshit. That wasn't like actually what was happening.
Yeah, like
because like Nazism is just like a ridiculous meme to like half the people that we know.
Really, it is. At this rate, it's just like, personally to me, I don't take any of the whole Nazi stuff seriously just because of like how much of a meme it really is right now. Like, you can be a Nazi for just disagreeing with anybody at this rate. Not to say that some accusations aren't valid, but the definition of Nazism is very much stretched nowadays as compared to like how it was many years ago. Which is,
I mean, if you think about it, if someone actually tries to be a Nazi, then they won't be taken seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
and then they won't be able to do anything.
Definitely won't be able to do anything, which is kind of a shame. But I mean,
what do you mean?
It's kind of a shame. Oh,
are you saying that it's a shame that the Nazis aren't going to be able to do anything?
No, that's fake news. You put words into my mouth.
No, I didn't.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Because if someone tries to be a Nazi, like an actual, like literal Nazi, then they won't be taken seriously because of the way that Nazis are viewed now. And then I was just like, all right, they're not going to be taken seriously. They're not going to be able to do anything. And you're just like, well, yeah, that's a shame.
I meant it's a shame that they're not going to be able to be taken seriously, but at the same time,
what do you mean?
If they're not being taken seriously, they have the grounds to kind of just like validate themselves. My thoughts aren't entirely coherent. I will admit that, but if people don't take the Nazis seriously, like actual real Nazis seriously, no one will pay attention to when they actually hold power and when they actually are hurting people.
But the main thing that I'm thinking is that, like, if they want to get into power, they would need people to pay attention to them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's if people aren't paying attention to them, sometimes they can get into power too. Like, say if the general public is has no idea what this person is, but they have a very negative idea of what this other person is, and they have to vote. Who are they going to vote for? The person that they know nothing about except for jokes, or the person that they know a lot of negative things about? It's a lot of hypotheticals, and in some ways it's positive, in some ways it's negative, but we don't really know the true societal implications of Nazis being a joke until we see from a few years from now, or we interpret philosophical writings of people who know much more about the subject than I do.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for Power Bottom, I wasn't really aware of Power Bottom before I started hearing about this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I guess now I have even less of a reason to care about them. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm seeing a Streisand effect here, where I kind of want to check him out after this controversy, just for the fact of I'm curious. But I mean, also, it's not really Streisand effect. It's more of just this whole press has effect of like, hey, people know who Power Bottom is. This press event is just giving them a little bit more promotion than some people in the press want them to have. So I guess it kind of works out in their favor a little bit.
I guess, but like the whole idea of bad, like any publicity being good publicity, like it can only be stretched so far, because it like the whole idea is that, like, for one thing, like the whole idea is that if people are talking about like how bad of an artist you are, then you're still getting attention and people are still listening to you. But like if you're getting so much attention because you probably like committed a horrible crime, then Like that's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah, so
You might not see the benefit in that.
yeah, you may not see the benefit in that. Thank you for getting a more coherent thought out there, my friend. Let's see, but so let's just kind of dive into the exact story itself. So, reading off of the Pitchfork stuff, I need to find another source for music because someone's gonna make fun of me for this. But so the planned appearance in Los Angeles, let's see, is canceled. Let's see, and they're set at Bloodfest has also been scrapped. The event page for the Los Angeles show has been removed. Let's see, venues citing recent allegations against Hopkins as the reason for canceling shows. Oh, I think a lot of their tour is, their whole tour is canceled because of these actions that have come up on the internet. And it's honestly, that's actually like the first time I've seen this drastic of like a takedown happen, like for a tour. Like I've heard of Chance the Rapper being not allowed to perform at like certain campuses in Great Britain. I've heard of like some artists canceling some tour dates because they necessarily don't like the location they're playing in, or the location they're playing in doesn't like them. But I've never seen it to this level where an entire tour has been canceled because of controversy. Like, can you think of any other like artists that have had? No, nothing.
No, I can't think of something that's like been this severe. At least not off the top of my head right now.
I mean, the only other thing I can kind of like draw an even close parallel to is the campuses protesting Milo Yiannopoulos' appearances at campuses because of his personality and statements all over his career. Like, is a strong kind of parallel there, but not really, because, well, of course, two different sides of the political spectrum, of course, or on two different sides of the coin. Like, one's saying things, one is accused of horrible things. Yeah. But, so, oh, shoot. So, after an anonymous woman gave an interview to Jezebel describing an alleged sexual assault by Hopkins, the label Pop Vinyl announced that it will no longer distribute the band's music. Father-Daughter Records, who released the band's debut album, also cut ties with the band and announced that they will no longer sell Power Bottom records or merch. Two of Power Bottom's touring members distanced themselves from the band, and multiple tour openers all pulled out of their planned shows. So, this is literally just everything exploding in their face because of the alleged sexual assault. Well, that is the most severe form of like bad press ending a band that I've seen. Like, their label cut them out, their entire tour was canceled. That's nuts. Like, thinking that the press can have that much power over one band and kind of honestly take them down systematically. I mean, they did it themselves. So the one member.
Like this isn't like it's not like these are like rumors.
Yeah, of course, not rumors. It's
these are like actual like allegations.
Yeah.
Like these are accusations of serious crimes, and that's making the people who are associated with those people want to distance themselves from those people.
Exactly.
Like really, all the press is really doing is just saying what happened.
Yeah. I mean, that is very true. It's
the press are the messengers.
Yeah. It's just these are I just want to point out these are allegations, though. Like, no one is going to court over this quite yet, so it's kind of alarming to me that this is taken so seriously and so to the point when there is no legal decision of whether this is all a fabrication or whether this is an actual thing that happened. Because I don't want to be a victim blamer or whatnot, but like, this is all an anonymous accusation, and we shouldn't really judge so harshly on an anonymous accusation. Like, I understand that that creates a very bad culture for people who have these stories that try and come forward and can't really justify it because of, like, circumstantial evidence not being available. But at the same time, the legal system works in a innocent until proven guilty manner, and I feel like that should kind of apply to these accusations. So, in a sense, I kind of think that this is a little bit extreme to go to this length, but I understand why they were going to this length. There was all of these people are very scared of being associated with these events and don't want that kind of bad press, because the press is not gun shy to kind of put the target on, like, the people that are associated with these, like, accused perpetrators of horrible acts. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like, we've just seen an entire band almost nuked from orbit because one person is accused of doing something really terrible. And I guess a little bit of a lesson to people: don't do something stupid. Try and be nice. Don't do what this guy did, and especially be careful when you're in a position of fame, because you can easily have that fame stripped from you if you do something really stupid. I mean, it's funny, we still see... Is Phil Anselmo still part of Pantera? But he was involved in a lot of stuff at the start of the year, end of the year. See, I don't know if he he left Pantera after the controversy. Let's see. But I remember there was like a big controversy where he came out on stage drunk and was saying some horrible things and was booted from his band because of it. But I believe, it was he was, let's see, let me look in here. He released an apology, but I don't think he was ejected from Pantera. But the point still stands. Don't do stupid things when you're in a position of power, because that power can easily be taken away from you, stripped from... Like, the rug can be swept out from under you before you even know it, especially with the digital age, moving things so quickly and getting the news cycle going, like, in a moment's notice. Like, the second you do something stupid and someone has a video of it, your career is almost over, unless you can have the star power to kind of push back against it.
Or if you are really inclined, just building your entire appeal off of being stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's G.G. Allen's career right there.
Yeah, G.G. Allen's career. I mean, I don't think G.G. Allen's career would have succeeded as well in the modern age, but in, like,
if he wasn't insane.
Yeah, if he wasn't insane, like, so, because he's just a whacked out dude, and, like, people love that. He succeeded in that. But if you have the intention of being taken seriously as an artist and you do something stupid, you're probably dooming your own career, unless you say Kanye West. Or it's not really he's doing something stupid, it's more just kind of being outrageous, being Kanye. Which...
Yeah. Well, like, he hasn't really... Yeah, no, he hadn't, he didn't really commit horrible crimes.
Yeah, he just kind of been saying things and being
he's just
outrageous.
Kind of an asshole sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the time.
We still love him, though. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Is there any other interesting stories from the last week or so? So I don't think so. How long have you been going for? We've got about an hour of 20 minutes in, so I say it's actually I'd say it's a fair point to say we can start wrapping up the show from here.
Yeah.
All right. So I posed the idea earlier, but I want your opinion. Is there any sort of album that you want to check out for this next episode of Not Moo?
Actually, yeah, I remember there was a show that I went to at one point. It was a show that I played.
All right.
There was a band that played there that I met. I actually got their CD. The band is Chris Finn.
Mm-hmm.
The album's called The Poncho People.
The Poncho People?
Yeah, by the Poncho People by Chris Finn. And actually, the band, like the whole band, actually referred to themselves as Chris Finn and the Poncho People.
All right. Is it on Bandcamp? Let's see. Oh, it's on Apple Music. Okay, all right. So that's very convenient.
And I have a CD of it.
Cool. It's it looks like the cover is drawn in crayon, right? Just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing, right? It's like two characters kind of. I'll send you the link over Skype real quick so that.
I'm pretty sure the cover that you have is different than the one that I have. I think the CD just has a different cover.
So yeah, there is a link right there. Does that look like it's it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, Poncho People by Chris Finn. This looks pretty interesting. Yeah. Cool. So yeah. The Poncho People and Chris Finn. Give that a look, and we will give you guys an evaluation in a week's time. Until then, Cameron, what have you got coming up this week or in the upcoming few weeks? Any albums that are on your radar? Anything that you're going to be putting out soon? Anything that you want to get content rolling for?
I'm about to eat in like a couple minutes.
All right.
I'm like deathly hungry right now.
I understand, my friend. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
That is what's coming up for me.
All right.
That is the album I'll be listening to.
Yes, the sounds of eating, the pleasured eating. But so yeah, I guess keep an eye out for Cameron's new album coming out. Is that coming? Wait,
the Chef Boys.
The Chef Boys?
Food sounds.
Oh yeah, but your new album, that's coming out tomorrow?
Probably not. You know what I'm probably gonna release? It's probably gonna come out the 24th. But then again, you know how good I am with deadlines on this album. I'm an idiot.
I'm very sorry if you're
Don't trust anything I say when it comes to a deadline on this album.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
I just want to finish it, and then I can get into like the other weird stuff that I'm planning on doing, which I won't tell you about because I still need to finish this album.
Of course, yes. Don't tell me about any weird stuff. You just focus on doing what you need to do. I'm sorry again if you feel pressure throughout through the show because like, hey, I want to get this stuff done. I'm talking about it in public. But I will definitely be looking forward to when City of Ghosts is finished and released. Just take your time, my friend, and just kind of chill out when you need to, all right?
All right.
And so anything coming down the pipeline for me, I'll probably end up doing like a full analysis of Gozia by Low Roar, or I might start up a new series for the channel very soon that I was talking to you about. But until then, it's just me finding a job and doing what I can until then. So yeah, I'll be listening to more music and getting back to you guys next week. Cameron, it's been a blast, and go eat, my friend. You guys have been listening to Not Moo. I'm Ian. I'm a nerd.
I'm Cameron. I am a musician.
And take care, folks.
Bye.